So you're thinking about moving to San Francisco. Well, I understand why. There are plenty of reasons to do so. This is a melting pot of culture and architecture and history, and the city has so much going on also in terms of food and nightlife and tons of things to do for a family. But there's also a lot of other things that you need to consider. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 6 reasons why you should not move to San Francisco. I'm here along the Embarcadero, and it is an absolutely stunning sight. Everything from historical ships, we got the Bay Bridge right there, Waterfront Cafe, Transamerica Center right there, Salesforce Tower right there. It is absolutely a stunning view, but there is a price for that. The number one reason why you shouldn't move to San Francisco is the cost of living. As of this morning, the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in San Francisco is $4,300. So for a family of 4, they are expecting that your living expenses are $4,000 on top of that. So with a 2-bedroom apartment average and roughly $4,000 a month extra in living expenses, you need to have a minimum after tax of, what is that, $8,300 a month? So you need to make a lot of money just to be able to afford living in the city. And what does that $4,000 a month go for a family of 4? Well, let's just say that you have a car and you want to park. Well, the average price to park your car for a monthly parking permit is $250 per month. And then let's just say that you want to go out to dinner. Let's just say that you just want to go to a normal restaurant and just you and your spouse, you go out for 2. The average price without alcohol, after tax and tip and all that, is going to be $80 per night just to go out. You want to take your family, you want to take your kids, you're talking $150, $160 just to take your family out for one night. What about a 1-bedroom apartment? Well, right now, the average price for a 1-bedroom apartment is almost $2,800 a month. The only place in the United States that's more than that is New York City, and that's only by a couple $100. So yes, even for a 1-bedroom apartment, it is very, very expensive down here. So that is the number one reason why you don't want to move to San Francisco, is the cost of living. Now I am here at Levi's Plaza, and this is another one of those gorgeous places. It's a huge, maybe not huge, it's a nice sized park. It's got a fountain, it's got a pond, very well manicured. And up there, but you can't see because of all the trees, those are lots and lots of condos on Russian Hill. And it's a beautiful place to live. But that brings me to my second point of why you don't want to move to San Francisco. We have a housing crisis. That's right, I said crisis because this year we are only on track to build 3,000 homes. And so far for the permits to be built for next year, we're on track to only have 2,000 new homes built in 2023, which means that we still have this huge shortage of homes, which despite what's going on in the market is still driving up cost. Just to give you an example, yes, the condo market has slowed down just a little bit, but if you want a 1-bedroom condo here in San Francisco, that's gonna set you back a cool $700,000. You want a 2-bedroom? Just double that, $1.4 million for a 2-bedroom condo here in San Francisco. If you want a single family home that has maybe a few bedrooms, you're talking $1.5 million plus, and that's for one that probably needs a little bit of work. So the number 2 reason why you don't want to move to San Francisco is our housing crisis. I'm here on the corner of Market and Montgomery Street, and it brings me to my number 3 reason why you should definitely not move to San Francisco. This city, the original planner back in the 1800s, he had never planned a city out before. And one of the things that they did was they put half the roads, well actually we'll just say 75% of the roads, on a north-south, east-west grid. And then they drew Market Street that just kind of cuts off where all the jobs are. And so the problem is where the streets that go north, south, east, west meet these diagonal streets, the flow of the traffic is absolutely horrible. Crossing from one side to the other can be a nightmare. And you can't really see it right now. I'm here in the middle of the afternoon, so it's not rush hour, but in the morning when people are coming into town, in the evening when people are leaving their jobs, you will see cars just blocks and blocks and blocks going this way. And the light will turn green right here, and it'll be green for 10, maybe 15 seconds, and then it goes red. And you might be able to get a few dozen cars through the intersection, and it's just not enough. So the other thing is that there are no highways or interstates or anything like that that actually cuts through San Francisco without having just a ton of stoplights or stop signs. So just to give you an example, I take my son to school. He lives 5 miles away. This city is only 7 miles by 7 miles. It's 49 square miles. It's only 7 miles from one side to the other. In the morning, it takes me almost 45 minutes just to travel that 5 miles from where we live to where he goes to school. And that's when there's very little traffic. At the end of the day, when I go to pick him up, it can take me sometimes an hour, even an hour and 15 minutes just to travel that 5 miles. And one time I decided to count how many stop signs I had to stop at to get to his school. There were 32 stop signs between our house and his school, and that's just stop signs. That doesn't even include stoplights. So that is the number 3 reason to not move to San Francisco, is the very, very terribly designed street system and the traffic. I am at Sidney Walton Square, which is a really nice green space. We've got trees, we have sculptures, art just fills this city, and that is the one really good thing about it. There's also a Safeway over there. All around me is residential condos, and so you can see, here's the condos. There's also Transamerica. But this brings me to my 4th reason why you do not want to move to San Francisco. Mark Twain once said, "The coldest winter I've ever spent is a summer in San Francisco." And that is because there is only 1 month of the year where the average high temperature is over 70 degrees. And that is actually September. So most of the year, your high temperatures are only in the 60s, and we can still get to the low 40s. If you want to talk December and January, where the nighttime lows are 47 degrees, and that's average. So sometimes it's even colder than that. It does get really cold here. And it is deceiving because it will be like this, it'll be light and sunny and 70 degrees, and then all of a sudden the afternoon wind kicks up, the fog grows in, and it quickly drops down. So if you don't have a jacket and you're not prepared, it can seem so cold, especially when your body is used to the sunlight and the warmth. So that is the 4th reason not to move to San Francisco. The weather can be very, very deceivingly cold. I'm here at Yerba Buena Gardens now. Check it out. We've got a beautiful fountain over there. We have Salesforce Tower right there. We have the Twitter building right down the street. Just south of here is a place called South Park that is VC Central. All sorts of startups there. Which brings me to number 5. On reasons why you do not want to move to San Francisco. The job market out here is very, very competitive and very, very tough. And yes, they do pay a lot of money. You know, you can be right out of college with a computer science degree and you can get a job with Google or Facebook or any one of the big companies and land a $160,000, $170,000, $180,000 job with $200,000 plus in stocks and benefits. But if you're not one of those people, if you're one of those people with a more regular job, like let's just say you're a mechanic, let's just say you're a carpenter, it is very, very difficult to make ends meet out here. And if you're not one of those people who can compete against the smartest, best brains in the world, because they all like to come here, it can actually be very difficult to get a job out here because the job market is so competitive. And that is why they do spend so much money. That's why Google, Facebook, they start their engineers, well into the 6-figure category. So if you're not one of those people, then yes, you're gonna have a problem because finding jobs that can pay your way out here in San Francisco can be very, very difficult. So that's reason number 5 that you don't want to move to San Francisco. My Sixth number, not to move to San Francisco. It's what I call Instagram versus reality. I'm running right now so I can give you the shot, because everybody has this shot. Ready? Now, I'm going to show you that photo just as we took it, but I'm also going to show you the photo once the magic of Instagram puts its final touches on it. And you'll see that sometimes reality and Instagram aren't exactly the same thing. So that's my number 6 reason why not to move to San Francisco is Instagram versus reality. This is going to be your bonus, don't move to San Francisco. Parking is a nightmare. Unless you have paid for parking in a building, do not think you're going to come downtown and find a meter. They are almost always taken, and you will drive and do laps and laps and laps before you find a parking spot. So that's your bonus number 7 reason not to move to San Francisco. So that wraps up my 7 reasons not to move to San Francisco. Now, if I don't have you convinced not to move here, that's fine. My contact information is in the description below, and I would love to show you around town and help your move to San Francisco be as smooth as it possibly can. Also, if you want to learn more about what it's like living in San Francisco and get up-to-date information, hit the subscribe button below and hit the little notification sign so you can be the first to know when new information comes out on living in San Francisco. Till then,